Let the American people see what we have done in the dark of night. After all, I have not gotten any more mail, any more emails on any other subject than this one that is before us today. Mr. Speaker, I understand we're under martial law as declared by the Speaker last night.
Many of us were told in private conversations that if we voted against this bill on Monday, that the sky would fall, the market would drop 2,000 or 3,000 points the first day, another couple thousand the second day, and a few members were even told that there would be martial law in America if we voted no.
They say, trust us. Trust us, the people who brought us Katrina, to be competent in face of a disaster. Trust us, the people who brought us warrantless wiretapping and other excesses eroding our civil liberties. Trust us. Maybe the plan just really doesn't exist, and that's why they won't show it to us.
If you live in the heartland of America, you have to listen up. While the nation was distracted with the Anthony Weiner drama, President Obama signed an executive order that will seize greater power over food, fiber, and energy in our vast countryside areas. Why would Homeland Security be involved in exerting power and influence over the heartland? The aims of the White House Rural Development Plan sound eerily similar to a UN plan called Agenda 21, where a central planning agency would be responsible for oversight into all areas of our lives, a one world order. Sound familiar?
You say that would mean that we the people, the United States Constitution, would be circumvented at the altar of this one world what?
One world government, one world secondary. Our sovereignty would be subject to the dictates of the World Trade Organization, the World Bank.
This is AIG, Goldman, and you know what? The Bavarian Illuminati, the Trilateral Commission, Goldman Sachs, and the Queen of England are not all bad. Goldman can be the first to rally hard enough to fix itself. I call it a virtuous circle that makes the stock even more attractive. Oh, by the way, I am part, just like when I always play with an open hand, I am part of the powerful cabal of ex-Goldman associates that controls the world.
We economic hitmen have created the world's first truly global empire. And it's the first empire in history that's been created primarily without the military. Out of the ruins, something new will take seed. I want to believe that we can not collapse, but change. And the whole world can change, and the whole world economy. And I think we have a really good shot at doing that.
I really think he's going over there to try to create a one world order. God forbid this even, that this happens in our country. Our country, as we know it now, will no longer exist. The thing that worries me the most is this health care bill, and why I'm scared about it. It's not about the health care. It's about the provisions that are in that bill. One is that if this thing passes, the government will have the right to come into our home and regulate how we raise our children.
What's happening is we are now in a state of martial law and war globally. NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, that Obama has called for and signed, stipulates that even American citizens can now be targeted by the military, picked up, and imprisoned indefinitely without civilian trial, thus throwing out our due process, our habeas corpus clauses. So we are now in the state of martial law. Everything is now putting conditions for a total war state. I mean, McCain called for the whole of America becoming part of the so-called battlefield. America is now a battlefield. The whole earth is a battlefield.
When law enforcement roam the streets, leveling guns at the windows of homes.
Yeah, you sent us this picture.
That's a problem.
Shows a guy in the gun turret pointing right at somebody's window.
We had lots of examples of that in New Orleans when they brought in the National Guard.
This is after Hurricane Katrina. And Mayor Nagin said, well, I've declared martial law.
Because he can't.
He can't. That has to be the Congress or the president. Let's explain what martial law means.
Well, martial law just is very simple. It means you're under the responsibility of the militaries.
They declare martial law or whatever state of emergency.
The police already have special powers. There are only two ways to do things in life, voluntarily or forced. Only government police officers, for example, have the right to use force on others. They can detain us, jail us, shoot us if they think it's necessary. It's why it's important that we have this, the Constitution. But the police don't always respect this. Like most people, they're happy to acquire more power and money.
Does the government work for us, or do we work for the government? How has the United States changed from a humble, peaceful republic into a police state? Have you ever noticed that the government always claims that when it does these things, it does so in the name of safety? When is the last time you heard the government give, as a basis for its behavior, personal freedom?
the slow transformation into a military police state. We now have police dressed like Army Special Forces, driving armored tanks and holding assault rifles, the sight of which alone is enough to terrify innocent people into submission. The militarization of local police departments is not only changing the way peaceful communities once looked, it's also bringing the battle mentality to our neighborhoods. We may not see police as a threat to us now, but when peace officers are geared up like soldiers, they'll eventually act like they're going to war.
Who could want a government that punishes people for speech, that lets its own agents write their own search warrants, that fights wars just to keep the military-industrial complex busy, that debases all you own by printing worthless money and putting it into the stream of commerce, that gives away more than half the tax dollars it collects, and that, despite express provisions in the Constitution to the contrary, permits the president to lock up whoever he wants and to throw away the key? Whether you believe that we are the highest order of natural selection, or whether you believe, as I do, that we were created by God in his image and likeness, you know in your heart that these natural yearnings, as St. Thomas Aquinas and Thomas Jefferson called them, are our natural rights, are a part of our humanity, and cannot long be denied us. And yet, they have been denied. America, the greatest losses to our freedom have come not from someone attacking us, but from the government ignoring the Constitution and the majority letting them get away with it. And we should make the government afraid of us. Afraid of us. Because as Jefferson reminded us, when the people fear the government, there is tyranny. But when the government fears the people, there is liberty.